You have 5 seconds to hook an admissions officer. What are you gonna say? Attention is the most valuable currency you have as a student today. The average teen's attention span is now less than 8 seconds, which is shorter than a goldfish. And your college essay isn't immune to that reality. Right now it's just me and you. Let's just be honest for a second. Imagine that you're an admissions officer and you have a quota of 50 plus college applications to get through, hundreds of essays to review today. How long are you realistically spending on each one? Online, you might hear that admissions officers spend about 15 minutes on each application. But when it comes down to the actual review, if they skimmed your extracurriculars, they looked at the start of your college essay, they weren't interested, and it's only been about 5 minutes. Do you think that they're sitting there with a stopwatch just looking at it like, oh, it's only been 5 minutes, let me spend another 10 minutes going back over the same thing I've already read? Come on, man. I'm not making this video to scare you. I'm making it to tell you to be realistic. Now, when I'm watching videos like these, you know what I appreciate the most? It's like those easy tips that you can just implement into your writing that don't take much effort. So here's one for you right now. If you already have a draft for your personal statement or another essay, try deleting the entire first paragraph that you have and see how the essay reads. At this point, I've reviewed over 1,000 essays, and I can't tell you how often people's first paragraph is just setting up the scene and including so many details that aren't actually necessary. You know what removing that first paragraph does? It starts the essay from the middle of the action. A lot of times we see a very standard plot diagram. If you're just like looking up online how to outline an essay, they'll talk about how you want to have an introduction and then build it up all the way to the climax of the essay, and then it comes down a little bit. What I'm proposing is that in order to have someone's attention, what's the most interesting part of the essay? It's that climax, the top. And so instead of having so much build up, start closer to that action and then draw it out. Take a smaller segment that's more action-packed and interesting and dig deeper into it. Let's see a quick example of this. The sound of screeching tires was the last thing I heard before everything went black. What we have here is a sentence with multiple points of curiosity. What's the context for the screeching tires? Are you inside a car? Is there some kind of an accident? Are you outside of this event watching it go on? And then we hear that everything went black. Are you involved in this accident? Are you okay? As a reader, you have a compulsion to at least look at the next sentence to try to figure out what's going on. Where is this essay gonna go? I used to read a lot of college essays online and like watch YouTube videos when I was in high school. And so I know that sometimes when people give similar advice to starting with some kind of an action, it can be done in a little bit of a corny or cliche way as well. Using an automatopoeia or like a sound effect, you know, like bang went the a school alarm when the fire drill started. It's just a bit played out. And in my eyes, after reading literally hundreds of essays, kind of childish. I think a much fresher and more mature way to approach action is to add a little bit of nuance to the sentence. A detail or two that people wouldn't expect, or just gut your introduction out to the bare bones so it starts in the middle of the action rather than beginning with description. Because there's a difference between starting your essay with just general descriptions and vivid imagery. Morning fog rolled in from the harbor, and the crunch of boots on slick cobblestones echoed through the deserted docks. The idea with using a descriptive sentence is to have some kind of sensory appeal for the reader. Within that first 1 or 2 sentences, your goal is to paint a literal picture in their mind. If they can see what you want them to see or feel some kind of an emotion related to that, that's how you get someone. And again here, this can be combined with the previous point. It's not like these are discrete things. Having a little bit of curiosity here can help as well. In our example sentence, we have the little ending phrase, echoed through the deserted docks. Why are the docks deserted? Is that something that's relevant to the rest of the story? Given that you're taking the time to make your intro sentence as strong as possible, it might be cool to have the little details in there be relevant to your story later on, as opposed to just being a random description, which might be cool when you're first drafting, but in later drafts, once you have the body in place, you can refine. Now, when you're writing your college essays, it helps to have something real to write about. It's one thing to say you're passionate about a subject, but it's another thing to actually do something with that interest. That's where Lumiere comes in. Lumiere Education is a research program that pairs high school students with PhD mentors from top universities like Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford. Together, you work one-on-one to build a college-level research project in any field you're interested in, from biology to business to international law. Based on their latest admissions report, students who included a Lumiere research project on their college applications were 3 times more likely to get into a top university. And we're talking about the Ivy League here. And it's not just about results. The research process itself gives you a deeper understanding of your academic interests and something genuinely impressive to write about in your essays. If you're interested, I'll drop the link below to apply, and you can use code PRATHIKV. Their upcoming deadline is on August 24th and spots fill up fast. Thank you to Lumiere for sponsoring this video. Now let's just take a step back from a second. One of the hardest parts with coming up with a good intro is having it be original. And not just original, but actually represent you. It can be so unbelievably frustrating to sit in front of a Google Doc, even when you have an entire idea for the essay, the concept, the moral, the theme. The whole essay idea or even draft might be in place, but how do you come up with something novel to start? that represents you, but has also not been done by the millions of other high schoolers applying to college and isn't corny? You want to know the answer to that question? The real answer? Because I'll be honest with you. You can sit in front of a Google document for 6 hours a day, but that's not where the actual inspiration is going to come from. I find that the actual most productive way to come up with something that's clever, but truly unique to you, comes from a reflection that you do away from the computer. If I had to put into words the feeling that you're probably looking for when you're reading over your current intro and you feel like it's just not hitting the spot, is you want something that's raw, nostalgic, maybe a little bit funny, that played some kind of a role in your personality or your perspective on the world outside of an academic sense, in a way that actually represents you. A great place to get your ideas flowing along these emotional lines would be through like an old photo album your parents have. Or if you're watching this video in your room right now, just get out for a second, pause this, go through your closet, look under your bed, look through any of your drawers, see if there are toys you had as a kid or clothes that bring up certain memories. The one thing I don't personally empathize with is the argument that,
oh, Pratik, I don't have anything unique about me. Nothing crazy happened in my life.
you're telling me from the ages of 1 to 16, you didn't have a single hobby, a single thing you were interested in. As a baby, you literally just stared at the wall and watched the paint dry for 15 years. Honestly, if that's the case, just make it your college essay. I used to watch paint dry for 10 hours a day. Bang or hook, right there. And keep an open mind here. If you see something and then you have the thought, oh, I don't know, maybe people have written about this before, it doesn't matter to you. Go ahead, put it in a notes document. For me personally, I had a notes document on my phone that I would just like add these ideas to. Add every idea that pops up in a very unfiltered way, because you never know when one idea leads to the next, when certain ideas connect together or they inspire other things down the line. A lot of times when we're doing our like college essay reviews on this channel, or if you're reading a lot of essays on your own, like I always recommend you do, what you're looking at are essays in their final form. Sometimes we compare our own writing in its very early stages to something that people have gone through 30, 40 revisions with. Maybe they had an admissions counselor look it over. They had their friend's family look it over. 99% of the time, the first earliest idea you have has such a poor representation of what the final product will look like. The only way to know what the final essay will turn out like is to write the essay. The earlier you can start with this, the better, because it gives you more time to do some brainstorming. And so your action items right now, which will literally take you 5 seconds, is just to open a notes file on your phone so that when you're doing a little bit of brainstorming throughout the day, whether that's in the morning, whether that's when you're in the shower, and an idea pops into your mind, you can just write it down for later. And that way, when you sit down at your desk to actually write your college essay, you open up that blank Google document, you're not starting from scratch. Looking at that blank Google document is a void for all of your creativity. Nothing good comes out of that. But a blank Google document with an ideas list, that has potential. I'd absolutely love to read and review your guys' personal statements. And so if you're struggling with writer's block or you want a second pair of eyes to go over it before you submit to universities, go ahead and check out my website in the description. I also do full college application reviews if you want to get your activities and awards list in tip-top shape before Ivy League schools get a chance to see it. Wishing everyone the best of luck with admission season. I know y'all got this. This has been your boy Pratik. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace.